Okay, so now we go on to the next stage of the cycle of heartbreak, depression. We have with us Humanitas, dancer and a student from the 2015 batch who's currently on her electives in medical humanities in dance appreciation, and she has created this dance for the Humanitas program. The song she will dance to is Kandulu Denna Mata Hadanna by Sunil Edirisinghe. Give me tears to overflow the seven seas.
කඳුළු දෙන්න මට හඳන්න සත් සමුදුරු ගොඩ ගලන්න සුසුම් දෙන්න මට හෙලන්න සත් වල ගල සසලවන්න කඳුළු දෙන්න මට හඳන්න සත් සමුදුරු ගොඩ ගලන්න සුසුම් දෙන්න මට හෙලන්න සත් වල ගල සසලවන්න උපන්න ආලවන්ත පෙරුවකෝ මට කියන්න මගේ තනියට මා පමණයි ඇය එවන්න මා බලන්න කඳුළු දෙන්න මට හඳන්න සත් සමුදුරු ගොඩ ගලන්න සුසුම් දෙන්න මට හෙලන්න සත් වල ගල සසලවන්න සොයා යන්න මාමිය යන බව පවසා ඇය එවන්න මා බලන්න කඳුළු දෙන්න මට හඳන්න සත් සමුදුරු ගොඩ ගලන්න සුසුම් දෙන්න මට හෙලන්න සත් වල ගල සසලවන්න කඳුළු දෙන්න මට හඳන්න සත් සමුදුරු ගොඩ ගලන්න සුසුම් දෙන්න මට හෙලන්න සත් වල ගල සසලවන්න
performing for that very sad song. Manita, any take on this song? Is depression really this bad when the heart breaks? It was very sad to watch.
I think everyone who has loved and lost love would know how the light has gone out of and I saw the backdrop as a painting by Vincent van Gogh. And there's a line in the song by Don McLean for Vincent, this world was never meant for one as beautiful as you. He took his life. So to the point that it can bring you to that kind of desperation. Of course, that does not have to be the end, right? Because, and I think explain this, elaborate on this. But it is certainly bad because, see, regardless of the history of romance in this world, regardless of anything beautiful that has come out of relationships, even recoveries and how you found the best person later on, down the line, at that moment, the light has gone out of your world. And that's a very dark place to be. It's not a very happy place to be.
If people were kinder, gentler when they broke a heart, do you think this sadness will be different or easy?
We could hope that. Perhaps, I remember a few months ago, I came home and I saw my younger daughter. She's 19. She was listening to music and I said, how are things? What's happening? And she just looked up at me and smiled and said, occasionally she updates me about her life. They don't do that all the time. And she said, I'm going to break up with Papa tomorrow. And she had this smile. I was shocked, how can you say that? Papa is a nice kid, but it's just another Papa, but someone's son. And I said, what? Does he know this? Yeah, that's what I'm a bit upset about, because in his playlist he has posted this song, Put Me Down Gently. Right? So it was a gentle put down your friends and all that. It doesn't happen that well. But all those who are suffering or have suffered broken hearts here, you have all either broken other people's hearts or have the potential to break other people's hearts. So it is not about being the victim, but you can be the cause of heartbreak. All of us can be murderers also, right? Breaking a heart is something we can all do. If anyone loves us, absolutely, then we have that power to shatter that person's life. So we need to be careful. We need to be better human beings. How we treat another human being, that person is like, it could be someone like your brother or your sister or your mother or your father or your daughter. So I don't want anyone to lay my daughter down harshly. Okay? So I'm happy that she put down Pawan gently.
We wish Pawan all the best. So, Shatri, any thoughts on this phase of heartbreak, which is depression?
I'll relate the story to you all. Once upon a time, I was seeing both the partners. I was known to them. So I knew what this male partner has, now the male partner has realized that this is not the girl for me and wanted to break up. And then he planned it so well. He planned it because there was an exam coming up. So he waited until the exam was over so that the girl was traumatized minimally. And at the same time, I knew the girl also. Although he took so many steps to lessen the heartbreak, the pain, that didn't really matter. Because what to experience from her side is the loss of the love of her life. So you can't really say that, because it's how you take it, it's how you perceive it. And we come with all sorts of bags, right? As I said, the personalities, previous breakups, so it's more complicated than that. And also about what Malinga mentioned, we tend to excuse ourselves from doing wrong things. Let's say, if we fall in love for the first time if we fall in love with another while we are in a relationship, we would most probably go ahead and start the relationship with this person. But if that happens to us, we'll be sad and angry and so on. Because we tend to excuse ourselves, but we can't give the same privilege to somebody else to do it to us. So, realizing that, just like we can fall out of love, our partner also can fall out of love. That's something that we need to realize. I know it's not so easy, but now to put it simply, we are okay to dislike somebody, but if we get to know that this person doesn't like us, we are hurt. And we are like, how come? So it's similar to that. I can fall out of love, just like that my other person can also fall out of love.
Chaturi, if a person had knowledge like we are sharing here today at the Humanitas about these stages of love, maybe some of us in this audience or here are trying to recognize which stage of heartbreak we are in. If we pinpoint it and diagnose it for ourselves, does that help in the healing process?
Yeah, actually I wanted to make that point. Now when we were talking about anger, there was this, the song that we listened to, like, you also die, I also die, both of us die. Okay, so there, it shows the anger and it shows the revenge that's like, projected upon that person. So just knowing that I'm angry can stop us from reacting. Okay, knowing our emotions is very, very important, because most of the time we don't recognize our emotions. We don't give ourselves time to recognize our emotions. You just, the person comes and tells you, okay, I think we are done, I don't love you anymore. You just slam down. So, me polowe kahana issella anger kenawa. There is anger preceding that. So, in our busy lives, we don't give time to recognize and be aware of our emotions. So, knowing the stage is important as well as our reactions to it. Now, here the anger of Yashodharavata and anger of the song, English song, is so different, the way it has been expressed. And I'm telling you, it's the same with y'all as well. No different. Never mind the century that it was done. Never mind the countries, it's the same. When you're angry, that's why you try to hurt other people. Sometimes you take the anger upon ourselves and do hurt ourselves. Just like which is mentioned in this song. As well as if the personality is a little bit calmer, sort of like with a lot of support surrounding them, then they might take this anger by talking to somebody else and so on. So it's very, very important.
So, Marita, from a non-psychiatric point of view, how do you help a person as a poet and a writer and a connoisseur of love, if I may, when they are going through these sort of sadness? How do you do it?
I tell them some stories, right? And one of the things I tell them is that, the first love is not necessarily the last love, but the last love is the first love. Because there can be a last love only because the previous ones don't deserve that word in your mind. Right? You think back on past loves and it is beautiful, sweet and all that. This is it. So, which medical students who studied science and know scientific method, the logical, the conclusion is the one might be the next one, right? so that obviously, if you have had more than one relationship, you would know that, because the first one was thought to be the one and the last one. First and last. Right? So that is one thing I tell them, and also that, you have to keep some distance. You have to, even if you are in love with someone, if you hold someone's hand really tight, it hurts that hand and it hurts my hand. Similarly, if you just brush it aside, it's the flip side. That leaves a body hard to do. The better thing to do is to caress, pirimani. You're not gripping and you're not gripping. Right? So then when you have space, if you read Khalil Gibran's poem on marriage, it says, give some space. If there's no space, how can the wind blow? Why in a harp are there strings that are not stuck together? Because that's how you get the music. Right? Similarly, if you want to get back with this person or have some kind of relationship with this person, you have to give yourself space. Because the more close you are to something, if you're like, there's a tree, you're hugging it, sometimes the tree trunk might be having thorns, bleeding all over the place, weeping copious tears. You cannot obtain the dimensions of the tree, what this person truly is to you. But if you put some distance, and that can be literal or metaphorical, if you put some distance, you see that tree in relation to the rest of the forest. If you have seen Shakespeare in Love, the queen says, tells the girl, a long journey is a good solution when in a heartbreak situation. It's a beautiful love story. And that is, she's like sent to America, but it's a long distance across the Atlantic. But you can, in your mind, put 2 oceans, 7 mountains between yourself and the other person, and try to obtain some perspective. Then you can probably get the true meaning. If you don't understand the true dimensions of what you're feeling, it's harder to deal with it.
Thank you, Malika. With this, before I come to Chaturi, we are going to invite Rameswaran Pirathis and Jagantan Mithu-san of 2019 batch, I'm sorry if I got your name wrong, on stage to sing another song on this cycle of depression, in the cycle of grief, Kanave, Kanave. Depression that the singers are going through is looking for a new self. Through this cycle of heartbreak can a new self, a new reality, a new way to love, a new way to be emerge.
That's when you come to acceptance. So now you know that you're sad, okay, fine, that has gone, and now you have to come into a new equilibrium without that loved person. And many people come into acceptance phase in different ways. Some, they maintain a relationship. Of course, it would never be the relationship that you had. And sometimes they try to become friends and they can't be friends because there is this emotional roller coaster that might come up. So therefore, you have to come into an agreement, and it's best if you can do it that way. So you both know where you are in the relationship. So that's a kind of acceptance. And sometimes, some people move on. It might take 6 months. Generally, we say about 6 months, but some people take longer. And as we said earlier, some people do it in a very short time. They come into the acceptance phase, and some skip as well. So, acceptance is all about moving forwards. There would be memories, good and bad, because sometimes patients come and ask me, that's not what acceptance is all about. Acceptance is all about, okay, I had this chapter in my life, and there were good things, there were bad things, and this is the outcome. With those memories, we are moving forwards, and then we learn things to ourselves to move forwards. And as I said, people cope differently. Some people, their acceptance is that they don't even want to side that person. They don't want to be near that person. So there is an element of denial, avoidance, but then without their functioning being affected, they are able to move on in their life without that particular person. In that way also.
Chaturi, some people vow never to love again, never to be in a relationship, never marry another person. You taught me this word mummification. Is that a part of acceptance?
Mummification is actually not a part of acceptance. We did not talk about the abnormal stages. Now let's say when a person is sort of is keeping all the memories, and I have vowed myself, there is an anger there, there is an avoidance there. So that's not acceptance. That's anger. That's not acceptance. You should be able to move on if you are in the acceptance phase. Okay, physiology you are keeping it here, but you are able to move forwards using the book. But once you turn the pages, you might be remembered of the times. Yes, but then that's not having an impact. Mummification is not that. Like, let's say, okay, this is the book that he gave, so and I should not be using it. I'm throwing it away, and you give a different meaning to it. So you have not moved forwards, which means you have not accepted where you are.
Manindra, any ideas?
You asked me what I did paper. One of the things maybe that we are conditioned throughout the time we started thinking about love and relation, the hormones start playing up. We are kind of pressurized to have the perfect relationship, the perfect love, and we think we deserve it because we are the best person we know, right? And we deserve to have the love the kind of love that we think is ideal. So we have that project in our heads. So we want it all. Right? So it's all or nothing, nothing between. But the truth is that between all and nothing, the infinite number of somethings. Right? No, I'm not promoting promiscuity or anything like that. But, not that there's anything wrong with it. But, there are no rules to these things. Right? No laws. But maybe the challenge is to find the right something in each relationship we have. Relationship with a daughter, with a wife, with a lover, with a teacher, with an ordinary citizen, with a person who is like giving me a parking ticket right now. The right something. And that is not easy. You have to put a bit of thought in. You must have a bit of empathy. And if you get the right something, okay, that's not the love that I thought it was going to be, but it is some love. It is something, it is of some value. It is not the undying, forever, everlasting, that kind of thing, but it is still something significant. Because every relationship has some value. Every human being is beautiful. And you have to find, it takes, you have to expend some effort to discover that beauty. And then it's a very wholesome kind of exchange, engagement that that's how the entire world becomes better.